June 10, 1912, Villisca, Iowa. A small, quiet town where everyone knew everyone. That morning, a neighbor noticed something strange. The Moore family hadn't done their morning chores. The curtains were still drawn at 8 a.m. No one answered the door. She had a spare key. She let herself in. What she found would haunt America forever. 8 bodies. A mother, a father, 4 children, and 2 young girls who had been sleeping over, all murdered with an axe, all killed in their beds while they slept. Someone had walked through that house in the dead of night, going room to room, killing everyone inside, methodically, silently. 6 of the victims were children. The youngest was just 5 years old. The killer left the axe behind, but he was never caught, never identified, never brought to justice. This is the story of the Villisca axe murders, one of the most horrifying unsolved crimes in American history. A case that terrified the nation and remains unsolved 112 years later. The Moore family was well loved in Villisca. They were active in the community, respected, normal. Josiah Moore, age 43, was a successful businessman. He managed a farm equipment store in town. Everyone knew him. Everyone trusted him. Sarah Moore, age 39, was his wife, a devoted mother and active member of the Presbyterian Church. They had 4 children: Herman, age 11, Katherine, age 10, Boyd, age 7, Paul, age 5. On the night of June 9, 1912, the Moore children attended a church event called Children's Day. It was a program put on by the local Presbyterian Church. The children performed. The parents watched. 2 young girls from town were also there: Lena Stillinger, age 12, and her sister, Ina, age 8. After the program, Sarah Moore invited the Stillinger girls to sleep over at their house. It was a special treat. The girls were excited. Around 9:45 p.m., the Moore family and the 2 Stillinger girls walked home together. Neighbors saw them. They waved goodnight. No one saw them alive again. June 10, 1912, 8:00 a.m. Mary Peckham, a neighbor, noticed something odd. The Moore house was completely silent. The curtains were all drawn. Usually by this time, the family was awake and doing their morning chores. She knocked on the door. No answer. She called out. Nothing. Mary had a key to the house. The Moores had given it to her in case of emergencies. She let herself in through the back door. The house was dark. Every curtain and blind in the house was closed. Every mirror was covered with cloth. Even the windows were covered from the inside. Mary walked upstairs. She opened the door to the parents' bedroom. What she saw made her scream. Josiah and Sarah Moore were dead in their bed. Their heads were crushed beyond recognition. Blood covered the walls, the ceiling, the entire room. Mary ran from the house screaming for help. The town marshal arrived within minutes. He searched the rest of the house. In the children's bedroom, Herman, Katherine, Boyd, and Paul, all dead. All killed with the same brutality. In the guest bedroom, Lena and Ina Stillinger, also dead. 8 people, all murdered in their sleep, all killed with an axe. The scene inside the house was unlike anything investigators had ever seen. Every single victim had been struck in the head with the blunt end of an axe while they slept. The killer used such force that he crushed their skulls. Most victims never woke up. But the details were even more disturbing. After the murders, the killer had spent time in the house. He covered every window and mirror with clothing and sheets. He wanted complete darkness. In the children's room, the killer had placed a slab of bacon on the floor next to the bodies. No one knows why. In the parents' bedroom, he left a bowl of bloody water and a bloody washcloth. He had washed his hands. Downstairs, investigators found 2 cigarettes on the floor. The killer had smoked while waiting in the house. The murder weapon was found in the guest bedroom. It was Josiah Moore's own axe, taken from his woodshed. The killer had locked all the doors from the inside before leaving through the unlocked back door. Investigators estimated the murders happened around midnight. The killer had stayed in the house for hours afterward, just sitting there, in the dark, with the bodies. The Villisca axe murders became national news. It was one of the worst mass murders in American history at the time. Police investigated hundreds of suspects. Several people were arrested, but no one was ever convicted. The main suspects: Reverend George Kelly, a traveling minister who had attended the Children's Day program that night. He acted strangely after the murders. He confessed twice, then recanted both times. He was tried twice, but acquitted both times due to lack of evidence. Frank Jones, a Villisca businessman who had a bitter rivalry with Josiah Moore. Some believed he hired someone to kill the Moore family, but nothing was ever proven. Henry Moore, no relation, a suspected serial killer who had committed similar axe murders across the Midwest between 1911 and 1912, but he was never charged with the Villisca murders. William Mansfield, a drifter who was accused by Frank Jones of committing the murders. He was tried but acquitted. The investigation went on for years. Detectives followed hundreds of leads. They questioned over 200 people, but they never found enough evidence to convict anyone. The case went cold. Today, 112 years later, the Villisca axe murders remain unsolved. 8 people were killed in one night. 6 of them were children. The youngest was just 5 years old. Someone walked through that house with an axe and murdered everyone inside. Then he sat in the darkness for hours before calmly walking away, and he was never caught. The house still stands in Villisca, Iowa. It's been turned into a museum. People come from all over the world to see it. Many visitors claim the house is haunted. They report hearing children's voices, seeing shadows move, feeling a presence in the rooms where the murders occurred. Paranormal investigators have studied the house for decades. Some say the spirits of the Moore family and the Stillinger girls are still there. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, one thing is certain. What happened in that house on June 10, 1912 was pure evil. 8 innocent people murdered. A killer who was never found. A mystery that will likely never be solved. The Villisca axe murders remain one of America's most terrifying unsolved crimes.